Hello and welcome. Today we're going to do a 30-minute restorative class, and that's exactly what it sounds like. It's going to be a class to help restore your energy, to restore your mind, your body. It's going to be a restful class. Really great for the end of the year, holidays, running around like crazy. Take this time and enjoy. It's a very luxurious practice. With restorative yoga, we need props because we're actually the props are going to do the poses for us. We're going to relax into them. So it's all about letting go into these props. So props are a must. So I would suggest having 2 blocks nearby, something like 2 blocks. I'll show you an option that you could use a rolled up towel in place of blocks if you don't have those. If you have a bolster by any chance or something resembling a bolster, this is a nice sturdy, could be a cushion, it could be pillows, it could be a roll, it could be a blanket. So I've got a nice blanket here that would also work. If you fold that over, that will also work like a bolster. So, or pillows or any combination of any of these things. So go ahead and grab a variety of things. If you need to, as we go along the video, if you realize you need another prop, you can always pause it and go and grab that. So before I go in too deeply into restorative, what all it's about and what the benefits, I'm going to get you set up in your first pose. Because the other thing, like yin, we're going to stay in these poses for an extended amount of time. In this case, they're going to be relaxing into the pose. So get ready to enjoy. But before we do that, let's start with a quote by Rumi. Know then that the body is merely a garment. Go seek the wearer, not the cloak. I think that's an interesting quote. I'll say that again. Know then that the body is merely a garment. Go seek the wearer, not the cloak. That's a quote by Rumi. All right, so for our first pose, we're going to start out with, you're going to need a bolster or something like that. Again, if you don't have a bolster, you can take a nice big thick blanket, and I've just folded it over. So I've done kind of an accordion style, and you can fold it over many times and to make it very similar to this shape. So if you wanted to fold it into 4s even, you could do that, and you have a very similar shape to the bolster. And or you could stack pillows on top of this, or you could also use pillows. So you find what works best for you. I should also point out that I am wearing socks. I forgot to tell you that at the beginning. I am wearing socks. You don't have to, but I find that restorative, especially if you tend to be on the cold-natured side, or it's a colder time of year wherever you're at when you're doing this practice. And right now it happens to be a decent day when I'm recording, but usually this time of year it's colder. Your feet might get cold, and rather you be comfortable than have cold feet. In this case, you don't need the traction from your feet. And also, if you need to wear long sleeves, if you know you're really going to be cold, because you're not going to be moving as much. So go get those things also in case. So pause if you need to and get ready. Otherwise, just be comfortable and wear comfortable clothing. So we're going to take the bolster behind us. And then what we're also going to do is grab 2 blocks. If you don't have 2 blocks, no worries. Take a towel and bring it up to this configuration, and then you're just going to simply roll it up into a nice little roll. And this is going to take the place of the blocks, and I'll show you with both so that way you can see it in case you don't have blocks nearby or in your house. So all we're going to do is we're going to snuggle up to this bolster. We're going to put the small of our back right up, sacrum right up against the bolster. You're going to bring your feet out in front of you, and here you can decide where you want them. If you want them really close in, you can. It's going to just intensify that stretch. I would say maybe about halfway, like instead of all the way up to diamond or all the way in, maybe about halfway. And what you're going to do with the 2 blocks, they're going to go underneath of your knees. If you don't have blocks, you'll just take this roll, wrap it across the top of your feet, wrap it around your legs, and this is going to give you the same idea. It's going to help you hold those legs up. Again, restorative is not about working hard, it's about relaxing and letting go. So we want the props to help us. So if you don't have blocks, that's a great alternative. And you're just going to take the blocks, prop them up underneath of each knee, and then we're going to simply lay back in this pose over the bolster or blanket or pillows or whatever you have. You could also do this without a bolster. You could lay completely flat. This just gives you a much cozier, luxurious experience. We all could use some of that in our lives. So go ahead and lay back over the bolster. Allow your arms to flop open on the sides. Let your chest really open up. Hence why having a bolster or blanket is helpful. If you're laying flat on the mat, you won't get that chest opening, but you'll still get the hip and the groin opening. And we're just going to lay here for a few moments in each of the poses. So you guys get comfortable in this pose. Really just nestle in, make any adjustments you need to, come back out, get where you need to, because you're going to be here for a few minutes. So you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be thinking, God, is this pose over with already? You want to relax and just let go. Close your eyes. I highly recommend closing your eyes. If you've got an eye covering, maybe put that over your eyes. You know, another nice thing to do is turn the lights down in your home if it's at night or during the day or whatever. Maybe light some incense or a candle if you want to get really luxurious. Just let go into that bolster. And while you're in that pose, I'm going to go through some of the, you go ahead and stay there. I'm going to go through a little bit more about restorative, just let you get comfortable and get settled in this first pose. So go ahead, get comfortable, find your breath, get where you need to be, see how you're feeling. And for today, I think we're going to hold most of these poses for roughly about 3 minutes or so. So that might seem like a really long time, but don't concentrate on the time that you're going to be in the pose. Just relax into that bolster. Let the bolster, the pillow, the blankets, whatever you're having underneath of your back, and the blocks or the towel for your knees, just relax completely into this. Let your body go. Most of us are in this constant fight or flight response. We're constantly, the central nervous system is always switched on, and we don't switch over to the PNS, your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest often enough. So just let everything go. Let the tension go in your muscles. Unclench your jaw, because you're probably doing that. It's just a habit. Let all of that go. All of it. Restoratives focus on winding down and relaxing the body and mind. So for a lot of this can be so challenging because we just don't know how to relax and let go. And others of us might be going, oh my God, where's this been my whole life? You know, I need this nice rest and relaxation. So I really hope that you find this practice to be beneficial, whether it's challenging for you or whether you're craving some really quality self-care time for you. We do spend more time in each pose, and we're going to do fewer poses. Obviously, I mentioned before, we're going to use a lot of props in this class because the point is I want you to relax in the pose and not have to hold yourself into the poses. It is restful and rejuvenating, much like a spa treatment. So maybe your local spa is closed. Maybe you don't want to spend the money. Maybe whatever. You can create a spa experience at your own home. It's a kindler and gentler form of yoga, but it is so valuable. So don't think just because you're in this reclined, and like, well, I'm not doing anything. There's so much happening within your body, and it's such a big benefit that, yeah, you really should do this on a more regular basis. And I'll be the first to admit that I do not do this often enough. I really enjoy restoratives. I just don't do it often enough. It's just my own fault for not. And I highly recommend maybe find once a week to work this in, or maybe every other week if that's what works for you. All right, from here, take a few more deep inhales and exhales through the nose. I kind of talked you through that first pose so you didn't realize 3 minutes passed. Because I know when you're first starting, 3 minutes can seem like forever. And maybe you want to stay there. And if you do, you know what? A tip for the next pose, just have your computer or whatever nearby where you can pause at any moment and stay in a pose longer if you'd like. We'll really make this one 30 minutes, but it could go longer if you stayed in poses longer. All right, so from there, take a nice inhale, exhale, let that go. And from there, you're going to gently come back up by placing your elbows on the ground and using your hands to bring yourself back up very gently. We're not going fast here. And our next pose is we're going to use the bolster, or again, you could use a blanket here. That's fine too. And we're just going to nestle our right hip up to the bolster. So I have my legs in this configuration to the side. So I've got my right leg is bent on the bottom, right foot is on the bottom, and now my left foot is on top, and it's just going to nestle on top of that right foot. So you're going to nestle into this. And I'm going to show you two different options on this one. Depends on if you would like a less of a twist or more of a twist. Let me get these blocks out of the way. So for here, this is going to be a twist, but again, we're going to lay over the bolster. Again, you could do this without the bolster, but This just makes it a much cushier experience, or a pillow. So from here, you're going to bring your hands to both sides of the bolster on either side. And now your chest is now pointed to the bolster. And you're going to lay down. And if you want to make this less intense, you're going to turn and put your right ear down, and you're going to turn your face to the left. If you would like to have a little deeper twist and it feels all right in your body, then you're going to simply twist and place your left ear down on the bolster and look over to the right. So that'll intensify the twist a bit. Now I have a microphone, so I'm not going to stay in there so I can talk you through this pose. So go ahead and you pick your variation, either facing the left or facing the right for a more intense twist. Get comfortable there. And here we're going to stay about 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes or so, something like that, since we're going to do the other side. So we're going to just do the one side at a time. And while you're in that pose, I'd like to talk to you about the benefits of restorative, because there might be some of you thinking, why am I doing this? I'm not doing anything. Nothing's happening. Or maybe some of you are going, this is awesome. Let's do this all day. But for those of you that might be kind of wondering if it's really worth doing, here's some of the benefits. It will increase your flexibility because it deepens the stretches with the aid of props. So instead of you having to overwork and do the pose, the props are helping you do the pose. It will reduce muscle tension. And you should already feel that after the first pose. A lot of us walk around, jaw is clenched, back is tight, chest, everything's all clenched up. So this helps reduce that muscle tension. It will calm a restless mind. So if you're having trouble sleeping, doing some restoratives can kind of help signal to the body, hey, it's okay, it's time to settle down. Let's have some rest. It will it heals the body by activating the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's a big, big help, because we need to be in that rest and digest more than we are in our current modern life. Okay, I'm going to continue on the benefits here in a moment. But for here, just take another nice deep breath in through your nose and let that out. And from here, you're going to slowly come back up from that pose by putting your arms down, bring yourself back up to sit, and then we're just going to flip around. So do the same thing on the other side. So now your left hip will be up against the bolster. And now your right foot will be on top. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put your hands on either side of the bolster, bring your chest down to the bolster, and if you want less than a twist, you'll look over to the right. If you want to intensify the stretch and the twist, you'll look to your left and just relax your hands down beside you on the bolster. And again, because of my microphone, I'm not sure how well you can hear me. So I'm going to come back up. But you're going to rest into this pose. So really, I'll do it for a moment just so you can see with no talking. So let yourself go into that pose. And while you're there, I'll finish up with the benefits. It also will boost your immune system because, again, you're getting out of that constant fight or flight state that a lot of us are in all the time. We're just in that constant state. So it's really good at helping boost your immune system because it calms everything down. And it will also help us cultivate the skill of conscious relaxation. And we could all use that for sure. So I'm going to let you guys just rest here for another minute or so. Inhales, exhales, letting your body go into the bolster. Don't try to hold yourself up. Restorative is not about working hard. It's about letting go. It's great to do in the evening, maybe after a hard day at work, the end of the week after a hard week, in the middle of holiday season when everything's just overwhelming. It's good to do about any time. So breathe here nice and deep. Feeling all that just go. Let everything go. And from here, come back up. Support yourself with both your arms on either side. Come all the way back up. And now we're going to do a supported child's pose. So child's pose is already a nice restful pose, but this makes it even better. So definitely want wide-legged here on this one. Your big toes will be touching, and bring that bolster, your blanket, pillows, whatever, and snuggle that up between your legs. And from here, we're going to lay ourselves over the bolster and turn your cheek to one side or the other. Now, again, I have a microphone, so I'm not going to lay all the way down while I'm talking. But pick a side, and then we're going to switch to the other side about halfway through. So we'll be in this pose for about 3 minutes. Halfway through, I'll let you know, and we'll switch facing the other way. So it doesn't matter which way you're facing initially. So I'll show you without talking for a moment. So laying one side of your face down onto the bolster and just letting yourself go into this pose completely. Let your arms go, let everything, just let it all go. This is not a time to engage your core or to engage anything. Let everything go. Unclasp the jaw, let the shoulders, let all of that go. And just breathe here. Notice your breath. Notice how you feel. Notice where your mind might be going right now. Is it still racing? That's perfectly normal if it is. Is it starting to calm down? That's also normal because you're signaling to your body, hey, it's time to chill out for a minute. We don't need to be on alert all day, or at least at this moment. So stay there, breathing, just letting everything go into your prop. And from there, just turn your head the other direction. So stay in your pose, but now switch it so the other cheek is now laying down onto your prop. And just get comfortable. Just get comfortable and let all of it go. I'm going to give you some quiet moments here throughout because I think it's important that you have a little bit of quiet time during this. Breathing here, nice and deep. And now inhale. And bring yourself, using your hands to prop yourself up, come up very slowly. And all these poses, we're not jarring our bodies. We're going slowly from pose to pose. And now from here, we are going to do, you need your bolster, blankets, whatever you might need. You're going to stretch that right leg straight on your mat and bring your left leg in. So your foot is now on your upper thigh. Grab that bolster, your blankets, pillows, whatever you might need. You can stack this up as high as you might need. From here, you're going to simply turn and face that right leg. You might need a block here or blankets. I'll show you the pose and you can see what you might need for this pose. So all you're going to do is you're going to fold forward and prop yourself up using either a block, depending on how far you need to come. You can put the block up more like this. You're just going to relax here and hang out. If you find that going that far forward is just not going to happen, you can also just prop yourself up on your elbows. That's also a nice way, that's a nice variation. So get yourself comfortable. You can place another blanket here if that helps to bring it up to you more. However you need to do to just relax and get comfortable. And relax that right leg. Relax into this pose. Take some nice deep breaths there, in and out through the nose. Just let everything go into the bolster. Relaxing. Unclench your jaw. Let your thoughts go. Just be here in this moment, in this time. Don't forget to breathe nice and deeply, gently. Finding a position in this pose that's good for you, that's comfortable for you. Take an inhale, exhale, let that go. Come all the way back up. Stretch your legs out on the mat for a moment. Stretch back. And now we'll do the other side. So stretch your left foot out on your mat. Left leg, I should say. Right foot will now come in and will be on your upper left thigh. And set up for the same configuration. So whatever you did on the other side, just bring that to this other side. So if you need the block, you need a bolster, you need pillows, you need blankets, whatever it is, or if you want to prop yourself up on your elbows, that's fine too. You could always do this. Get comfortable in this pose. Settle in. Really let it go. And again, let that left leg just go passive and be relaxed. No need to hold any tension here. You're trying to have less tension. I apologize, I should have mentioned on the other side, but if you need to bring this bent leg out a little bit more to make this more comfortable, you can always do that. If having it further is harder, you can always bring it out more. So just get comfortable in this pose, whatever works for you. Breathing here nice and deep, letting everything go into that prop. Breathing, enjoying this quiet space. Take it for a moment. Now take a nice deep inhale, exhale through your nose, come back up from that pose, stretch your legs out long on the mat, let all that go, release that before we set up for our next pose. Now we're going to make our way into the next pose. So you're going to have your bolster on your mat. And from here, some of you, this may not work for you. So if it doesn't, I'll show you an alternative. But what we're going to do is, and you may think I'm crazy, you're going to take your right leg and fold it back behind you. So it's going to be like this, and your other leg, your left leg, will be out straight. If you already know that this doesn't work for me, forget it, not happening, go ahead and straighten both legs out. But if this works for you, you can bring it wherever you'd like to. Make sure you have the foot on the ground there. You can feel that. Again, if you have any knee pain, straighten the leg out. Don't compromise any pain there. So you're going to lay back over your bolster, much like we did at the beginning. Open your arms out and just rest here for a moment. If you've got both your legs straight, that's perfectly fine too. You're still getting a nice restorative pose. But now your legs are out straight. And I'll show it with that variation. So either way, just let your body go into this pose. Breathing nice and deep. Feeling your body let go and drop into the prop beneath you. Feel that relaxation. From here, deepen your inhale. Exhale, let all that go. And to come out of this, if you have the leg back, or whether you have leg back or straight, bring your elbows down to the ground next to you on either side of the mat or the bolster. Using your hands, lift yourself up very carefully. Now, if you have your legs straight out, I should have said that before, sorry. Go ahead and stay in that pose. If you have one leg bent, then you're going to switch to the other one. So rock over onto your right hip and now bend that left knee back behind you. So again, if you had straight legs out, stay in that pose. You're going to stay there for the rest of the time. Otherwise, go ahead and lean back onto your bolster and let all that go. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply here. Let everything go into the bolster, into the mat. Restorative poses are also very, very grounding for the body. They help you ground down any energy that might be frenetic or just needing some calming. It's great for that. So stay here, breathing nice and deep. Notice your thoughts. Notice your body. Are you noticing some tension leaving? Is it less tense than it was at the beginning of the class? What about your mind? What's the state of your mind right now? Just notice. Don't judge. Inhale, nice and deep. Exhale, and using your elbows and your hands, bring yourself back up nice and gently and slowly, both whether you have your legs out straight in front of you or one leg bent. And from here, we're going to do a supported bridge. So you could do it with the bolster if you have that, or a blanket. You could also do it with a block. So I'll show it with the bolster since my bolster's here, and then I'll show it with a block. So whatever you may have available. Blankets would also work if you don't have blocks. So from here, just going to come back, and the bolster is going to be underneath of us. Going to come back into our pose here. So we're going to lie back onto the mat, and we've done bridge pose if you've been watching any of my other classes. But this one, you now have the bolsters underneath of your seat. So your feet will still be hip distance apart. They'll still be bent with the soles of the feet on the ground. Your arms will flop out to the sides. If you would prefer to use a block here, you can. And you can do the same thing by just coming in, laying down flat on the ground, or on your mat, I'm sorry. Knees bent, and you can take the block, and I would suggest the lower height, where you have a much more surface area, and just slide that underneath of your sacrum. And let your arms flop out to the sides, keeping your knees straight, pointing straight up toward the ceiling the best that you can. Closing your eyes here and breathing for a few. Just noticing that breath, seeing how you feel here. Continuing to breathe. Notice your breath. Notice where you are. Seeing how it feels to be in this pose. A few more nice deep breaths there. I'm going to let everything go into the mat, into your props. Just let it all go. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, let that go. Carefully bring yourself back up so you can remove the block, you can remove the bolster, whatever might be underneath your seat, and come back up to sit. And from here, we're going to do a supported Shavasana. And so I'm going to give you the option here. I'm going to set you up in it, and then You can stay in as long as you'd like. Once you get set up in it, I'll give you when it's been about a minute. We're getting close to that 30-minute mark. So you can stay as long as you'd like. And I really highly encourage you do that. Stay for 5 minutes. Stay for 10 if you can. Take a nap in this pose. It would feel great. So you have a couple options to set up for a nice, relaxing Shavasana. You can take a blanket or a bolster or a pillow underneath of your knees. And you could also put another blanket behind you on your back and lay back onto your mat. Cover your eyes, have your arms out to your sides. Relax into this pose. Additionally, if you really liked what we did earlier where we were laying back over on the bolster, you could go back into that bowed angle where you support your knees and lay back over it. You could have your legs out, stretched out in front of you, or you can go with a nice traditional, regular Shavasana. Any of those are options. Another option, if you have a lot of tension in your shoulders, you could roll up a towel, and you could just lay back on that towel. So about your shoulder blades will be on the towel, and you would just lay back and open up that way. And you can have your knees bent, you can have your legs straight. This is for you to pick just what feels. This may feel a little bit tough for some people, but it does help open up your chest. But just pick what works for you. What feels good in your body that you can really relax into. And I'm going to leave you on that note. I'm going to let you just get yourself comfortable and stay in that pose, stay in that Shavasana. I recommend for at least 2 minutes. And if you've got 5 or even 10, if you got the luxury of that, take it. Enjoy it. It was a pleasure working with you today with this restorative class. I really hope that you walk away feeling restored, rejuvenated, renewed, and maybe excited to do another restorative class down the road. Namaste. Thanks for joining. I'll see you next time.